Hi, now let's work on some applications on bank borrowing. So remember, we are going to be using these formulas, so keep them handy. And based on the type of loan we are given, we are going to use the formulas to calculate how much in percentage is going to be my effective rate of interest or cost of borrowing. So let's see what we have here. Number 4, your bank will lend you $4,000 for 40 days at the cost of $50 interest. What is your effective rate of interest? So you might be looking on the formula sheet and you say, well, what type of loan is that? You don't see the word discounting or compensating balance or installment. So that means that's the simple interest for the first one. Simple interest, you pay the interest when the loan comes due. So that's the formula. How much interest you pay? You pay $50 divided by principal, how much you borrow, 4,000, times 360 days divided by days loan outstanding given 45 days. So in percentage format, your cost of borrowing is 10%, pretty expensive. When you see $50, you say, okay, $50. But because you only have 45 days to pay it back, it becomes so expensive. The same with the next one. Pawn shops, they are notorious for asking high interest rates there. The same, if you borrow $2,500 for 45 days, cost $35, how much is your effective interest? Interest 35 divided by principal 2,500, 360 divided by 45, it comes out to be 11%. So that was the application on simple interest. Now let's see if we find one on discounted interest, discounted loan. Remember, this word means that you have to pay the interest upfront, and your formula is going to look a little different. You have to subtract the interest from the original formula that we used at the previous problem. So how much is your effective interest? So you have interest in dollars, you have 13%. So you have to do the calculations first because all these numbers here have to be in dollars and you are given the interest in percentage. So 13%, 0.13 times $5,000, this is where you get your interest in dollars, 650, divided by principal, 5,000 minus interest, 650. And because the loan is 1 year, which means 360 divided by 360 here, which this term is going to cancel out, it's 1. So your effective interest comes out to be close to 15%. And let's see, we did the discounting interest, and you're going to work on the few ones here that you have. Let's find ones on compensating balance. Compensating balance, remember, is the one when the bank requires you to have some amount of money set aside in a separate account. So we have this business plans to borrow $300,000 for 1 year. So then again, you are going to have 360 divided by 360 here if you use that formula. And the bank will lend you money at 10% interest and requires a compensating balance of 20%. What is the effective rate of interest? Now let's check back the formulas to make sure you remember those formulas. For the compensating balance loan, you have two types of formulas you can use. If the loan is 1 year long, you can use this one, or you can use this more general formula here. You see, this is in percentage interest and compensating balance. This is everything in dollars. So let's use both of them to see they should give us the same response. If we use the percentage one, we have interest percent is 10%, which is 0.10 divided by 1 minus 0.2, which is going to be 0.8. So that's going to be 12.5%. And then we use the other formula, interest in dollars. Well, interest 10% applied to 300,000 is 30,000, that's in dollars, divided by 300,000 principal minus Compensating balance is 20% of 300,000, that's 60,000. And it's 1 year, so those cancel out is 1. So you come up with the same result. Okay, compensating balance. Let's see, compensating balance again, but a little with more information. Here, actually, I think you have to borrow more to meet the compensating balance requirement. So this business needs 400,000 for a project. And with a compensating balance of 20%, how much will the firm need to borrow? They don't have the money required for compensating balance, so they'll have to borrow more. So amount to be borrowed, that's C formula here. See, amount to be borrowed, how much you need in dollars, divided by 1 minus compensating balance in percentage. So you need 400,000 divided by 1 minus 0.20. So you have to borrow 500,000, put aside 100,000, and then use 400,000. Given your answer to part A and the stated interest of 9% on the total amount borrowed, what is the effective interest rate on the 400,000 that you actually use? Now, intuitively, effective interest rate is going to be higher than the stated interest rate of 9%. Why? Because you borrow more, but you only get to use 400 of 500,000. So it's going to be, effective interest rate is going to be higher. So the stated interest rate, it's 9% applied to how much you borrow, is $45,000. However, you only get to use 400,000 of this amount, so 45,000 that you have to pay anyway, divided by 400, effective interest rate comes out to be 11.5%. Well, since I want to go over more applications on other type of loans, I'm going to stop with the recording, this recording here, and I'm going to make another one with more applications.